We should just go and fulfill the mandates of the convention.
In other words, we should save the forest and stop the
Oh,
emissions.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I think there's never been more confusion in this modern life than ever before about what to eat. We have such an oversupply of food, but yet again so much confusion about this diet and that diet and all these fad diets going around, and all the scientific information coming out. And for me, there's only three dietary guidelines that we should adhere to, the three most important guidelines that we should apply in our everyday eating. And the first one is to eat God-made, not man-made. So food in its most original, unprocessed form is good for us. And to explain that in another way, to elaborate a little bit about that, I think also the main thing is we don't realize that food should be our medicine. So the importance of food and the role it's playing. What is this God-made opposed to man-made, and how will it affect us? I have an analogy that I explain it, but maybe to step back and just ask ourselves, why do we eat food in the first place? And I think that one of the main reasons is comfort. It's social. Every social event we eat. It's a habit. It's 1 o'clock, I must eat. But the main reason, if we think about it, is for energy. Food is there to sustain us. So we eat for energy. And if I feel low in energy, low in spirit, I crave that something. And typically somebody would eat a chocolate. Now what happens is that chocolate, the sugar in the chocolate is converted down to glucose. And that is turned in our system into energy. Now there's millions and billions of cells in our body. And in every cell, all these chemical reactions is taking place to convert sucrose to glucose to energy. It's not a chocolate coming out the other way. So it's phenomenal what this body can do. There's more than 7 trillion chemical reactions that take place in our body every second. It's phenomenal if we think we like this huge factory, and all these, the most clever computer is our human system. Now every single one of these chemical reactions taking place need a specific enzyme to catalyze those reactions, to make the reaction happen. The enzymes, again, need specific vitamins and minerals, otherwise they can't do their job. Now enzymes we inactivate at 48 centigrades. So anything that I've processed that's gone through a heat treatment won't have any live enzymes in them. Another analogy is we can look at a fire. A fire needs air. It needs the oxygen to burn, and then the glucose, that's our carbohydrate, that's the energy source, that's the firewood to build that fire. So I have a nice stacked fire, and I have enough oxygen around that fire. But what do I need to get that fire to burn? That would be a match to light and strike that fire. That is the enzymes, vitamins, and minerals to spark those reactions into reality. Now, we can also look at the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats, but the carbohydrates as the petrol for your car. Okay, so our car needs petrol to perform, and it's an energy source, but it also needs oil. That's the enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. The micronutrients is the oil to keep that engine functioning. Now, if I eat my chocolate, the sugar is converted to glucose, and this is turned into energy, and it sparks more than 7 trillion chemical reactions per second, each needing an enzyme, vitamin, and mineral. Then we have to ask ourselves, these enzymes, vitamins, and minerals, are they in the chocolate? I'm talking about a normal chocolate bar. Would there be any live enzymes? If we think that enzymes are destroyed at 48 centigrades, there would not be any life. and there's hardly any vitamins and minerals in that slab or that bar of chocolate. Now, if it's not in the chocolate, where will my body get these nutrients to help my body to convert the sucrose to glucose to energy? Because I'm not eating an apple with the chocolate, supplying it. It will take it from other places in my system. Our skin is the largest organ, not the most active, so we won't steal from our heart or our liver, but we'll first take nutrients from the skin. And that's our first sign of aging. We start to get wrinkles. And then we'll start to take nutrients from our bones. And as we age, nutrient density, bone density decrease and osteoporosis, and we get all these bone fractures and problems. And then just where there is a fire, there's always smoke. So we have a lot of metabolic waste. So there's free radicals and a lot of waste that is generated by this processes happening in the system. And this imbalance we create on a cellular level is all the degenerative diseases we struggle with today. It's diabetes, cancer, osteoporosis, chronic fatigue. Because if I have a sick cell depleted of the essential enzymes, vitamins and minerals, and a toxic buildup, and it's not getting the air and the water and the fuel source, that cell's going to be sick. And if I have a sick cell, I have a sick organ, a sick system, and a sick body in the end of the day. So we have to look what we put into our body. Anything that you put in your mouth, you must ask yourself, am I now giving to my system, or am I actually taking away? We think of that chocolate as extra kilo on the hip. We don't see it as something that's actually depleting the system of nutrients. Now, if we think of sugar cane, it's a live plant growing there with all the enzymes, vitamins, minerals, the fiber. Everything is in that plant that's needed to convert the sugar, the sucrose, to glucose, to energy. But what do? It's that white sugar stripped away and isolated, refined and isolated and stripped away of all these important nutrients. So if we think that's the bulk of what we eat is carbohydrates, but it's this processed carbohydrates. It's also in our grains, in the hull or the husk, the outside layers of the grain, where we have the most nutritional value. And with all the processing and refining, we lose all those nutrients. It's white rice, it's white pasta, it's pizza in the morning, pizza for lunch or supper. It's white bread. It fills our tummy, it gives us some energy, but it doesn't have these important nutrients. If you have a lovely red Ferrari, and I tell most of my clients, you're a beautiful red Ferrari, you would value that car. And you'll make sure you put the best grade petrol in there, the best, but also oil. What's going to happen to that car if you don't put oil into the engine? It's going to seize sooner or later. But we do that on a daily basis to our own system. I'm going to just mention the rest of the list of factors that has a negative impact on our system. If we look at smoke, nicotine is a stimulant, so it stimulates reactions, but it's not supplying nutrients to support that stimulation. It will deplete a lot of zinc, it will increase heavy metal cadmium, and it will also deplete lots of vitamin C from the system. So it's not only tar on the lungs, but I create a lot of imbalances in my system. If we look at alcohol, in red wine, there's a high sugar content. The sugar needs to be metabolized and broken down. The alcohol needs to be metabolized. It stimulates a lot of reactions. It's put a lot of stress, the phenols, on my detoxification channels. And it needs nutrients. It will need enzymes, vitamins, and minerals to support those, which is not supplied by the alcohol, by the wine, or the beer that I drink. So I deplete nutrients from my system. And the same with caffeine. That cup of coffee that I drink in the morning to kickstart my engine gives energy, it gives that boost, but it's not supplying the nutrients to sustain and maintain. Also, the problem with alcohol and caffeine, it dehydrates the system. It has a diuretic effect, and that will even furthermore wash nutrients out of my system. And then if we look at additives, all the colorants and flavorants and preservatives that's added to food, all these synthetic chemicals, my body is so uniquely designed, more oil and more exhaust fumes, that whole acceleration of the aging process. It's important to handle stress, body, mind, and spirit. So I need to eat good food, but emotionally and spiritually balance my life and look at a healthy life. And then eating God-made, God-given food in its most unspoiled form, that's my fruits and vegetables, supplying the enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. We're supposed to eat 5 to 9 different fruits and vegetables per day, just to supply the enzymes, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, the oil for my car, to keep my car going. Usually I limit it to 2 fruit a day. It's easy to eat 7 bananas and fruit salad, but it's a kale, broccoli, spinach, Brussels sprouts, celery that we don't eat on a daily basis, which is nutrient dense. So it's important to focus and realize this is the oil for my car to keep my engine going. I think today the big problem is we don't to get the best performance out of that car. And we must respect ourselves and do the same. That's the first aspect of balanced nutrition. On the second one, I'll just focus on balance and proportions. And I think that is where the big debate lies, is what is the proportions and what should we eat? To me, it is to balance 20% of our diet. If this is our plate of food, 20% of that should be our complex carbohydrate. Complex carbohydrates is our sweet potato, butternut, our starchy veg, our whole grains, brown rice. And then 20% should be our protein. That can be animal and vegetable source of protein, our free-range eggs and pulses, our beans. And then 10% must be fats and oils. But 50% on our plate should be our salad vegetables. And every meal should be balanced like this. There's a lot of variation to this theme, but for me the realization came that this is how our body composition looked like. We are made of 60% water. 60 to 70% of our body composition is water. And this is our water phase. There's no water in protein, fats, and oils. So, and then also this is very micronutrient dense. So we need all those micronutrients to sustain, like I've explained, our system. So the bulk of our diet, this is supplying the fiber, the water, and the micronutrients. Our body composition is 20% protein, so it makes sense proportionally that that's the amount of protein we should get from our diet. And we shouldn't be more than 10-12% fat. That's an ideal body composition. So it makes sense that proportionally that should be our fat intake. Just also to note that complex carbs, proteins, and fats are all acid forming, whereas our salad and vegetables is alkaline. And it's therefore very important to balance the acidity and alkalinity in our diet. One would typically think just for breakfast in the morning, one can start with a lovely frittata with loads of salad of vegetables in that frittata with free-range eggs, or an omelette with a lovely vegetable filling, or a smoothie made with fermented kefir milk and coconut and seeds and nuts in there, and berries and a banana and dates. So to have a variety in every meal. And then there's a big question and the argument about raw and cooked. I believe in balance. I don't believe in any dietary extremes. So 50% of our diet should be raw, where 50% of our diet should be cooked. When we expose food to heat, we destroy our enzymes and most of our vitamins. But many of our minerals are better absorbed from cooked food, like lycopene in tomatoes and carotene in carrots. So today I'll have it cooked in a stew or a soup, and tomorrow I'll have it raw in a salad. So the first point is God made these versus man-made, and then the importance of having balanced proportions and variety in our diet. And last but not least is our water intake. Most of people are just chronically dehydrated. It doesn't mean coffee and alcohol or sodas. We need to have a good purified form of water. We need 300 milliliters of water per 10 kilogram of body weight. So it depends on body weight how much water you'll drink. An average person of 60 kilogram will drink around 8 glasses of water to sustain and properly hydrate the system. Thank you.
This case started with civil society. In other words, we dealt with an informant in this case. This case would most probably never be if it wasn't for that individual that provided that first information of the crime. Now, that individual also provided the information on 3 prior cases, but he provided the information to the wrong people. The 14 officials that were corrupted within the case. And the information went to the officials, back to Arnold Benches and his crew. Now you know, we received that information and we've made it a success story. But we couldn't have done that on our own. J.D. Kotze, he's here. He was the head investigator of the Scorpions at the time. Brilliant, excellent investigative skills and capacity. They took the case to the next level. The Asset Forfeiture Unit, the National Prosecuting Authority, the Department of Justice in South Africa, the US attorneys, Marcus Asner, the first prosecutor prosecuting this case. He's present in this room. An honor and a privilege to have all the role players here today. He's here today. He played a crucial role. What I'm trying to illustrate is, it cannot be one person's work. One person in 1990